Welcome to the pre-match show presented by the Brian Burt's Home Selling Team. Score the best deal on a home with the Brian Burt's Home Selling Team. Visit brianburts.com or call 915-751-1500.
Greetings from El Paso, Texas. Tonight, for the first time ever, El Paso Locomotive FC hosts Charleston Battery. USL Championship Soccer is headed your way next. Good evening to you. Duke Keith here from Southwest University Park. Colin Deaver has the night off, and we'll be hearing from Rachel Phillips pitchside as we continue throughout the evening. The season is drawing to a close, and Locomotive in a pretty much must-win situation, needing to pick up those points. Their opponent tonight, Charleston Battery, in third right now in the East, but as we take a look at the Eastern Conference standings, this is a team that could possibly reach first place, so they still have quite a bit to play for. Let's take a look at that table. 5 teams already clinching spots coming into tonight's action. Battery in that 3 spot, but within reach of the number 1 seed, and only a point separating them from the Rowdies. Charleston has won and lost to Pittsburgh this season. They have an equal goal total in those matches, so their best chance of getting the number 1 overall spot is to get more points. Good news for them is they're getting hot at the right time, arguably playing their best football right now. Unbeaten in the last 5, 4 wins and a draw, and their most recent match, a Saturday 2-1 win versus Tulsa 1 week ago. We need to talk about who scored those goals and just how spectacular they are. 2 first-half goals by 17-year-old Fidel Barajas. Barajas, arguably one of the most exciting players since Diego Luna in the USL, has the ability to create for himself, as you saw in that first goal, and what a left foot. Then, on his second goal, another great strike from the 17-year-old. Gets a pretty good assist here, and then rolls that one in. That's number 1 on the night. 4 goals on the year, leads his team in assists with 8. Here is the second coming up. Beautiful strike up in the top left drawer, and it is spectacular. Playing with the Mexican U17 national team as well as the U.S. under-17 team. But more lately than not for Mexico. Incredible talent, someone Locomotive will have to keep an eye on this evening. Defense for Locomotive might just be up to the task, though. Only 4 goals conceded in their last 6 matches. More importantly, 3 clean sheets. They frustrated 2 of the best goal scorers in the league, in Danny Trejo and Manuel Arteaga, for a full 90 minutes. El Paso did concede a goal late on what might have been offside, but flag wasn't up, so you play on. Contributions from Miles Lyons, Eric McHugh, Noah Dollenmeyer in the middle, and Mark Navarro have been excellent during this run. And you still have Benny Diaz making saves in big moments. So that puts El Paso in the 9th spot, but there's so much room here to make something happen. 12 points remaining for Locomotive, so they're not going to catch the top 2. The 3 through 8 still a possibility mathematically. Obviously, other results would have to go El Paso's way in order to get a higher seed, but none of that matters if El Paso doesn't win games and pick up all of the remaining 12 points. Locomotive can still control their playoff hopes. The sense of urgency is clearly there.
I think our group thrives under pressure, and that's what it's about. Our playoff run has started right now. It's do or die for us in these next 4 games.
Can't make it much clearer than that. Do or die for Locomotive FC, and perhaps an Eastern Conference number 1 seed for Battery. We've got an exciting 90 minutes ahead of us. USL Championship Soccer, East versus West, coming up next.
Southwest Chiropractic, serving El Paso area and relieving pain for more than 20 years. Not only do we treat auto, sports, and work-related injuries, but we also treat scoliosis, sciatica, back pain, disc injuries, chronic. Southwest Chiropractic, our patients are seen the same day. We provide gentle and effective care, and we accept most insurances. Schedule your appointment today and let us relieve your pain with 3 convenient locations in El Paso. 19.
Welcome, everybody, to Southwest University Park. Duke Keith with you. Rachel Phillips pitch side as Locomotive FC getting set to face Charleston Battery. 12 points on offer. Locomotive with a game in hand on the team that is directly above them and in the playoff picture. That would be Monterey Bay. They'll make up that game this Wednesday, the final home match of the season versus San Diego. So we take a look at the starters for Locomotive FC. There you see Eric Calvillo, Knudsen up top along with Gomez. Locomotive pretty much in it's a 5-3-2 look. But Navarro, McHugh, Dollenmeyer, they've really shored things up defensively for Locomotive FC. And wonderful to see Knudsen really making some positive contributions for Locomotive. For Charleston Battery, there you see the young man, Mr. Barajas. He is somebody to keep an eye on. Fidel Barajas, the under-17 Mexican national, helped them win the CONCACAF U17 title, and he will be somebody Locomotive will have to pay attention to on their left side. Locomotive in their whites, Charleston Battery in the blood orange tonight on a beautiful evening in El Paso. At least it turned into that. Ask us 30 minutes ago and we would have wondered. Underway from Southwest University Park. Locomotive, first touch of the ball. Dollenmeyer on loan from LAFC. Locomotive will play out of the back. Augie Williams with the pressure here. Locomotive will get it out to Dollenmeyer. One of the keys, I think, for Locomotive in just getting back into the swing was shoring things up in the back. Well done here. It'll bounce for Rose. Dollenmeyer, 6'6", but very comfortable with the ball at his feet. Knudsen with a touch. Back to Dollenmeyer again. Petrovic. Locomotive will be patient. Nothing available at the left side. So played back to the S and a nice open switch to Miles Lyons. Locomotive patient in the build, as they will need to be. That is Kostishin, as usual, operating on that right side. Knudsen, first touches of the evening. Eric McHugh. And back again to Navarro around the right side. Lyons. Not able to keep it in. As we take a look at our keys to the game, Locomotive needs to pay extra attention on that left side this evening. We've highlighted Fidel Barajas, an incredibly creative player, does great jobs of setting up his teammates. 8 assists on the year, but he also has a fantastic left foot, as we showed you in the pregame. 2 goals from distance in that last match. Locomotive did an excellent job against Phoenix. Look for that to continue tonight. Close out the game. Back-to-back matches where Locomotive concedes in stoppage time, as here we see Petrovic trying the inland pass on the attack. Dealt with by Charleston. Maybe just bad luck. Winning goal in Sacramento, the tying goal versus Phoenix, both given up with only seconds remaining. Locos will be looking to tighten that up tonight. Dollenmeyer watches that one roll into touch. And finally, win at home. Only 4 wins at Southwest University Park this season. They have to have as much as they can. They've got 6 available to them over this next week. You have a rowdy fan base. You're up against a team that's never been here before. Battery will have to deal with the elevation and traveling from east to west. That can be tough. Home field advantage for Locomotive tonight. Just 4 matches remaining, but again, a game in hand on Monterey Bay, which is in action tonight. Those back-to-back home matches here Saturday and again on Wednesday to close out the home season, finishing out with 2 on the road. Again, we pointed out the first thing they had to clean up was the mess at the back. Locomotive have been letting in 4 and 5 goals through that horrible stretch of the season. That has been done. And credit Noah Dollenmeyer, who has been excellent since being brought in on trade from LAFC. Locomotive with all of the possession here in the early going. Here is Dollenmeyer. Switch it over the top. Dealt with by Charleston. Kostashin is there. Lifted out, it'll be a Locomotive throw. A bit of pressure up top by Tristan Traeger. Traeger scoring for Charleston in their match before last. Quite the hot streak. 4 wins and a draw for Battery at just the right time. As we say, first place still in reach. Also for Locomotive, Peter Knudsen has started to hit his stride, looked a lot more dangerous paired with Aaron Gomez up top against Phoenix. So we'll send it down to Rachel Phillips pitch side with more on how these pieces are now contributing for Locomotive FC.
Duke, it's almost a completely different team to what it was when the season started. You have mainstays like Lucho, Edabarelli, and Yuma who aren't in the team because of injuries. And you've got guys like Bense Patkovic who had to go back to Hungary on a transfer. But it was a little rocky because of all those guys kind of in and out of the team. But the Locos have really shored up that defense in the past few weeks. We've seen just 3 goals allowed in the last 6 games and 3 clean sheets over that span of time. For now, for head coach Brian Clairhart, it's really about looking at the offense and getting that going. He said, quote, "We need to score goals to get wins. We know where we are on the table. The mindset is to make the playoffs right now in these 4 games." And look, against Phoenix, they did that often. They had a lot of quality looks, just couldn't convert on them. They would have put a lot of pressure on Phoenix, and they had 7 of their 12 shots be on target. Expect that to continue tonight and really look for a few guys to find those one-on-one opportunities and convert on those opportunities, Duke.
That's a big key, the offense. The defense is now shored up, but as you point out, getting the goals. Locomotive with 7 shots on target versus Phoenix, 7 out of 10. But nothing, all but just 1 went in. Only 1 went in. Here's Navarro. One of the keys to Locomotive's offense has been that magical right foot to Petrovic. Petrovic with a step. Cut back, and just over the bar, it was deflected. It'll be out for the first corner of the night. And Petrovic will be over to take it. Petar Petrovic in from Sweden, the man Brian Clairhart hated to play against so much. But when he had the opportunity to have him play for him, jumped on the chance. Low driven ball. That's cleared away off the byline by Charleston. It'll be a Locomotive throw. Say off the byline, that was pretty much right in front of goal. Petrovic. That'll bounce kindly for Charleston. And on the run, Markanic. Up top to the dangerous Augie Williams. Williams the leading scorer with 11 goals this season for Charleston. Out for a Locomotive throw. Wonderful to see the Battery, which has been in existence since 1993, have an opportunity to continue play. This is a team that was about to go away if they didn't find a place to exist after they sold their stadium on Daniel Island in South Carolina. Of course, longtime USL fans will remember Blackboat Park. Blackboat Stadium, I should say. Remember seeing that, watching the El Paso Patriots play back in the day here in El Paso. The first privately financed soccer-specific stadium in the United States. That That all went away in 2019. They needed a new place to play. That's nicely lifted over into the middle. Barajas can't get it to go, and it's lofted and deflected, and a yellow card to Mark Navarro for a little push. As Nick Markanich sends it over. And Navarro, the yellow card in just the 9th minute. As we take a look. Oh, that's a handball in the box, and yes, it is a penalty. Didn't see the point to the spot, but with the caution, Navarro off the wing, and it will be Augie Williams in the 10th minute. Benny Diaz had his first penalty save a few games ago. Can he repeat the feat? Williams off the crossbar. Nodded down by Navarro. Locomotive lucky. But you'll take that luck where you can get it. Aron Gomez tries to break it out. Huge moment for Charleston. But Williams not able to convert, the native of Sierra Leone.
Yeah, Duke, what a massive moment right there for the Locomotive. Almost always do those penalty kicks go in, and Benny Diaz, you'd have to think, was probably in the mind there of the PK taker, considering he had that first save just a couple weeks ago. You know when you're going up against a keeper that can make those saves, it puts a little bit of extra pressure on you, and you saw it right there.
Augie Williams off the crossbar. As we say, they'll take those opportunities where they can find them. They'll cross it. They were looking for Williams, but too far. Let's take a look at this one again. Right off the crossbar. Locomotive dodging a bullet in the early going. Our referee, Joshua Encarnacion. Mark Novosel, Logan Reeves, our assistants. Mario Garcia, the 4th official. Charleston now with a good run of possession. Battery, first place in the East, is still in reach. Bounces to Kostashin, and he'll have a go. Because of course he will. The man from Ukraine at one point led the USL in shots. He'll take his cracks where he can find them. Blazes that one over the bar. Over the top. We'll run into that. The flag is up. Blazing away on that left wing is Tristan Traeger. As we pointed out, Traeger has scored. Charleston in the ascendancy, Rachel, and looking pretty solid on counterattacks.
Yeah, they certainly are, Duke. And I mean, just what a massive relief that is for the Locomotive to be 0-0 right now after that missed PK, especially considering Charleston are a very good side, and the Locos, as we talk about, they need every win they can get right now. Charleston actually undefeated in their last 5 with 4 wins and a draw in those games. They also scored 8 goals, had 3 clean sheets, and allowed 3 goals. This is a team that is finding their stride at the right time of the season, and the Locos need to trip them up tonight. And look, that missed PK is a massive, massive dent in where Charleston were trying to take this game. So now Locos, it's on them to take control of it.
Locomotive FC, as we pointed out, 12 points on offer, including this match, 4 matches remaining. But they have to have 3. It's been a bit since the last win. Up and over. Mark Segbers, St. Louis native, to put it back in play. That'll be a foul on Locomotive. Too close for Lions. Brian Claerhout looking for answers, and you know, he's been a part of seasons in Europe where he's taken over in the middle of the year. It has to kind of feel a bit like that. Like he's had to come in and do a rebuild twice, to build the team twice over. Locomotive, of course, losing Bense Popkovic, such a mainstay in that back line for Locomotive FC. Yuma injured for much of the season. We understand he is close to being healed enough to be back in the 18. Not quite. Dolenmeyer, nice switch. Lions, though, not able to run underneath it. Maybe a little too long. But it has to feel like he's had to rebuild this roster twice. Of course, it is very much a marathon from March to November. If you are fortunate enough to get deep enough in the playoffs come November. An eight-month slog for Locomotive FC. And everybody in the USL Championship. Here's Diaz. He'll have a go. Not quite on target.
Yeah, Duke, it's certainly a marathon, not a sprint. If it was a sprint, well, the Locos would have been pretty close to winning it, considering that nice long stretch they had there.
True.
In the middle and early parts of the season. But, I mean, that's what you've got to be impressed by about this Locomotive side. Yes, they are still trying to get on to a playoff spot, but considering all the changes, and every team goes through them, but there certainly has been a lot this season for the Locomotive. The fact that they are still in the hunt, it's got to be pretty encouraging. And the guys were saying that, you know, Petar Cognizant was saying that they have their heads held high right now. They think they can make a playoff spot. They believe they're getting 3 points tonight. Just because they're not in a playoff spot right now does not mean they're not going to get there. And that is a lot because they've been able to persevere and get through these tough times. And, you know, Brian said he actually thinks the team loves the pressure and loves thriving under it.
Well, the pressure is certainly on, and we'll see how that translates this evening. In front of a rowdy crowd, that's going to be Navarro. He has to be careful. Already on the yellow card for the handball in the box as he takes down Sekbers. So Charleston with a free kick in an awkward spot defensively for Locomotive. Not quite the penalty spot, but it's in that area where you send it in properly. Any touch can be problematic. Lofted in, the header. Nicely cleared away for Locomotive by Miles Lyons. Ranging over from his normal spot on the right wing. Charleston with the throw. Eric Dodson. Up and over. And Diaz with the header. Navarro will get it back. A little dangerous, but an awkward touch from Merkanic. Locomotive back with possession. Petar Petrovic, who you have to think will be a real key for any kind of success Locomotive has. Dolenmeyer, again the switch over everyone's head. Spill in the middle. Aron Gomez will restart it quickly. And he tried to catch Trey Muse off his line, and Muse watching it sail wide.
Yeah, and Duke, look, not a bad option for Aron Gomez if it's on target. The keeper was up a fair bit. I just heard the bench yell out, value the ball, and that is key in this match. So when you look at it from that perspective, you kind of wish Gomez took a little more time there, looked at his options, and put in a percentage play instead of a risky thing that probably wasn't going to come off.
Well, goal scorers like to score goals. And certainly you can't fault Aaron Gomez, but yes, possession will be key for Locomotive. Keeping the ball away from Charleston as Augie Williams taken down. It actually barrels over. William Rose. A little slow to get up for the Australian. Williams just trying to get there, and yeah, a little tangle of ankles, never comfortable.
That's the second time we've seen Rose hit the deck tonight, and both times quite slow to his feet. You remember about a month or so ago, he was out for a couple games with an injury. He's wearing a black band around his right leg right now, so a little worrying signs early from Rose, but hopefully he can stick in this game.
One of the absolute keys to linking the back line to the front, Liam Rose. Out of the back, Navarro kind of missing on that, trying to find Knutson up top. Rachel, wonderful to see your father David here with us tonight. In with you from a little vacation time in San Diego for the both of you.
Yeah, it is nice. You know, this is his second Locomotive game, and I asked him before the game, did they win when you were here last? He said yes, so maybe for the Locomotive he can be the good luck charm tonight that they need.
Knudsen trying to find Gomez, didn't lock. And cleared away, Dolenmeyer. Interesting to note that your dad, a retired sports agent in the land down under.
Yes, he is living the dream right now, that retired life.
What did he represent? Any one particular sport? Players from any one particular sport, rugby or Aussie rules football?
The main sport was rugby, because he played rugby growing up, so that's kind of how he got into it. And then, yeah, a few AFL players, a few cricketers, some boxers, some surfers, some triathletes, all of the things. And you wonder, Duke, why do I like sport?
Uh-huh. I hear you. You grow up with sports in the house, and it's kind of what you want to be around.
Yeah, most definitely.
Samesies. Well, that's an awkward challenge, Petrovic. A yellow card for Petrovic here in the 22nd minute. And kind of a cynical challenge as we take a look at this one again. Yep, definitely late. Trailing foot. A little slow to get up is Derek Dodson out of Aurora, Illinois, the defender. Dodson coming over from Memphis 901 FC. Of course, Ben Pierman, the head coach at Memphis last season. Connor Casey taking over the reins for just 1 year. Actually didn't last the entire season last year for Charleston Battery. But Ben Pierman has certainly brought the Battery to new heights. On the restart, Mark Hennick. But instead it's lifted over for Barakas and in front! Locomotive able to clear the danger. Dolenmeyer diving to keep that onto the back of the net with Augie Williams right there at the spot. Critical intervention. Big save by Benny Diaz to start that. Locomotive trying to clear the danger. And we have an injured Locomotive player. That is McHugh.
Duke, massive save right there, and those are the kind of goals or opportunities that the Locomotive in previous weeks, you go back a month or 2 months ago, that they would easily concede a goal. But as we've mentioned, that back line just so shored up with a few new guys coming in and really communicating back there to make sure that that goal didn't go in.
Well, you talk about Locomotive making a playoff push. All you have to do, because of the way things stand, and there we see Dolenmeyer's heroics after Diaz's heroics. All you have to do is make the playoffs. If you're on a hot streak, things can happen. And We love to see our champions crowned on the field in North America. Mexico's Liguilla, of course, the same. We don't crown records, we crown accomplishments on the field. So if Locomotive can manage to get in, who knows what can happen. But, as you pointed out, Rachel, the offense has got to click into gear. Chris Allen trying to bring it up. Locomotive will win the throw. Kostic and Knudsen. Knudsen stays with it. Nicely done. Knudsen, Aron Gomez over for the shot, and it's saved. Right in for a waiting Eric Calvillo. The Trey Muse was there. They'll switch it again. Best look of the night for Locomotive FC, but Calvillo can't find an angle to the corner of the net. It comes straight at Muse in the end. Calvillo, the El Salvador international, a little upset with himself. Beautiful job by Aron Gomez. Apologies, Rachel. Yes, it was a nice pass off. Go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned, I mean, that was the best offensive chance the Locomotive have had tonight, and that really started with Knudsen. I spoke to him during the week about what it's been like kind of joining the team so late in the goings. He said the guys have really taken care of him so late. For him, the toughest part of in midway through the season is his first game for the Locos was his first in about 2.5 months. Because of that, he told me it's taken some time to get back to that match fitness, but it feels like he's finally at that point. He thinks it will start to show on the field in the way of goals and assists, and you saw he nearly had one right there. He said he is used to the pressure of being the guy they look for.
Here comes Charleston. Another big intervention by Navarro to foist it out for a corner kick. As we saw Marcanic on the run there along with Tristan Traeger. It will be a corner for Charleston. We take a look at Calvillo's shot. Again, easy enough in the end. But Rachel, yes, it's got to be hard when you've laid off for 2.5 months. Locomotive, though, definitely benefiting from some extra fresh legs at this time of the year, at least in the USL Championship season.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, and he said he loves the pressure of being the guy they're relying on to score goals. He actually thrives on it, and it was the reason why he came and joined the team.
Charleston will take the short corner. Lofted nicely, but an easy grab for the ice. Marcanic has been the key that has unlocked quite a bit of the offense tonight for Battery. As we were talking about earlier, Battery playing at Black Boat Park on Daniel Island for many years, but now at Patriots Point in South Carolina, and combining with the College of Charleston to build a stadium in the middle of the pandemic. It's enough to build a new soccer stadium at any time in this nation, but to do so in 2020 in the middle of COVID, quite an accomplishment for the Battery organization, and happy that they are still very much a part of the U.S. soccer scene. They need to
seeing the rewards, you know, their team in 3rd place in the Eastern Conference, looking to get a home come and deliver things like this.
Well done to Charleston. Patriots Point, a very nice place. Of course, the USS Yorktown is there. They'll have the Locomotive able to survive that, almost given away. Have the 75th anniversary, 75th reunion, I should say, of Yorktown veterans coming up, I believe, at the end of next week. And it got started in 1948. Former World War II veterans who did not want to see the Yorktown scrapped. It is now a tourist attraction. in Charleston. And 75 years later, here we are. Kostashin. Nicely done, Knudsen. But can he bring it in? Draws the double team. Tristan Traeger. There, Lalenda foot. And off of Locomotive for a Charleston throw. Well done. Certainly Charleston, one of those unique American soccer stories, having been around since 1993. There are not too many teams that started way back in the olden days, as the case may be. A-League action, USL 1, that are still around. Battery is, and here they come again. And it comes, the left-footed effort kind of scuffed in the an easy grab in the end off of Traeger. And a quick restart to Aron Gomez. Gomez. Charleston able to get back. Petrovic. Hasn't touched the ball a whole lot, Petar Petrovic. McHugh to Navarro. The Spaniard to Knudsen. From the Faroe Islands. Dolenmeyer.
Duke, you talk about Charleston being one of those unique soccer stories, and they're on the precipice of maybe becoming a little bit more unique in the USL. Right now, they're tied for the biggest point swing in a season in USL history with 31 right now. They had 25 points total last season and are on 56 with still 3 games, including this one, to play. That's all being done under head coach Ben Perman in his first year at the helm of Charleston. Obviously, he won Coach of the Year in the USL last year at Memphis, and he's brought those winning ways over to Charleston. But what a massive achievement to have that kind of a turnaround and be so dominant this season in the East.
Charleston, again, one of the great names in American soccer outside of Major League Soccer, and Ben Perman making a beeline to get to Charleston out of Memphis from last season, and certainly the folks in South Carolina happy to have him. That's a great little side-footed slice by Kostashin, and here's Lyons. To the byline, knocked back in, down by Aron Gomez, but clear Charleston. The hook off the foot. Traeger not getting that one to go where he wanted it to. Off of Lyons, it'll be a Charleston throw. Midway through the 32nd minute here in El Paso, it remains scoreless, but not for lack of trying by Battery, who had a penalty kick in just the 9th minute. Off the bar goes Augie Williams, and it remains 0-0. Now to Petrovic. Petrovic, the side-footed effort, scores! They got it. Call him a winger, call him a forward. The man scores goals. Second in Locomotive this season. Gives Locomotive the 1-0 lead in the third.
Duke, what there for El Paso. We talk about them being in the playoff push, needing to capitalize on opportunities. They hold up on the defense so far in this game, and then they go and capitalize on a beautiful opportunity. Petar Petrovic, we talked about him pre-game, that he was going to be one of the guys, one of the keys to them getting a win tonight, and he did just that. And the celebrations, Duke, I hope we have a camera on Benny Diaz during that celebration, because he was jumping almost all the way to half field with how large his jump was when Petrovic got that goal scored. Brian Clairhart went and shook everyone's hands. The cheers in the stadium felt like they lasted a lot longer than a normal goal right here.
8th notch. Jubilant. It'll get loose of Diaz, who lets that go. It'll be a goal kick. Fidel Barajas appreciates the effort out of the midfield. Petrovic with his 7th of the season. Now 2 off the pace, still set by Lucho Solignac, who's been injured and remains inactive as of now. Boy, Locomotive needed his efforts. We talked about it in the pregame. They got it. Charleston earns the ball. Lofted over the head of Barajas. It will be out for a Locomotive throw. Absolutely critical to get that first goal for Locomotive. But you know that they'll be in the hunt for a second. Suffering, and especially this evening, they all stayed out in the rain. The rainstorm hit, lasted about maybe 15-20 minutes, as it usually does here in El Paso, but it was a deluge.
Well,
out drumming in the middle of it, and they were right there, Rachel.
Yeah, and now they've got to deal with, there's a bit of a drizzle going on as well, so not quite the downpour that there was earlier, but still some rain coming down on them while they celebrate that goal.
Undaunted, Section 105, the place to be when you come to a Locomotive match, if you can find a ticket there.
Well, tonight, Duke, you could, for sure. I mean, there's certainly...
Lofted in and over the bar.
Certainly nowhere near as many fans in that that 8-notch section that we usually see. I would suspect that's because of... to see the ones that came out tonight get rewarded.
Derek Dodson ranging into not that one over the bar. Trailing run. Charleston a good knockback from the byline. Dolenmeyer clearing the danger. Calvillo, the pass behind him, almost slid in to Barajas. A bit dangerous, but knew nothing of it. Here's Traeger. Benny Diaz out to challenge. Traeger is by. Cleared away by Dolenmeyer, McHugh. And out for a Charleston throw. Benny Diaz came out to challenge, and Traeger took him to town. Excellent recovery, though, by McHugh. Traeger again. Won by Kostashin. McHugh trying to hook up with Lyons, but it'll roll out for a Charleston throw here. That was absolutely critical for McHugh. It'll roll over, it'll be a Charleston corner. But McHugh needing to be there as Benny Diaz taken to task by Tristan Traeger.
Yeah, and Duke, you know, during the week, Brian said that it's do or die right now. Their playoff run has started, and you can sense that with the Locomotive. Those dives of desperation, Eric McHugh getting back there to defend Benny, those things weren't happening earlier in the season, or at least a month or so ago, and now they are, and it's because that playoff push is well in force.
Here is Barajas. Back with Markanek. If they want to take it short, they do. Over to the Mexican Youth International. And back. Locomotive set up well defensively, but over the top. Barajas in for the tying goal. Augie Williams at the back post. Knocks over the flag and draws the ire of the Southwest University Park crowd tonight. But that is the tying goal for Battery, and well taken. Off the set piece. Augie Williams up in the top corner.
It was a beautiful transition of motion between just 4 players there, back and forth, all the kicks. It's like they planned that coming into this game off a set piece, and it was executed to perfection.
Williams put the flag back himself, nicely done. But that is the tying goal, and well executed for Augie Williams. That is goal number 12 on the season. The flag is, yeah, not quite straight, but it's there. It's like a golfer replacing his divot. Augie Williams has tied the match at 1. Locomotive not able to track the Sierra Leone international. On his run, that is nicely taken away by Aron Gomez. Aron Gomez with a little room to roam. Roll it to Petrovic, a little slow. And pushed out for a throw by Robbie Crawford. Petrovic. What a sidestep. Barajas bodies tumble. It's a free kick awarded as Williams and Barajas take a seat. Striker that is Markanic. A little the worse for wear. But Locomotive doing what they can to break up the counter. Eric Calvillo. Liam Rose getting tangled with Augie Williams. Tied at 1 here in the 41st. Deflected. Pushed back by Andrew Booth. Free kick for Charleston. Knudsen whistled for the foul. Fan appreciation night here at Southwest University Park. Quite nice to see lots of Locomotive fans and 5-year season ticket holders honored before the match. Charleston back at it on the left wing. Lions taken to task. Traeger to put a foot on it. Tried to knock it back. Lots of white jerseys around it. Lions. Kostishin. Good dribble out of trouble, and here's Lions.
Really good effort there from the Locomotive to be able to not only get out of trouble, but get things moving in their direction.
Mark Segber's trying to get something started on that left wing. So much of what Charleston's been able to accomplish has come up Locomotive's right side defensively. Good effort by, here's Reedy to get in on top of that. Here's Petrovic. Petrovic in open space. That is a dangerous thing to see. Kostishin. Aron Gomez. Petrovic. Back to Dollenmeyer. Out to the fleet-footed Swede. Up top, Gomez makes a move. And it'll be knocked out for a corner. Trailing the play, Derek Dotson, just making sure it doesn't go anywhere else. Rachel Petrovic, arguably Locomotive's most dangerous player 1v1.
Oh, for sure, and especially up that wing. He gets into space. I've seen him take on whoever the keeper is, the opposition, numerous times, and often he comes out best, just able to make so much room there.
In swinging, and it's lifted out by Muse, right back to Petrovic. Petrovic again, to the far post, knocked in. Navarro trying to head that down, nobody in white near the ball. Kostishin. Roll back to Rose, and that's going to be a free kick for Locomotive. As we look at Trey Muse's knock back to keep it off and out of the net. So Locomotive with a free kick in an interesting spot. We point out anything off of an angle inside of 25 to 30 yards can be an issue if the ball is touched. Trey Muse knocking the right upright. Kostishin will play it short. Calvillo to Petrovic. They want to go up the left. Petrovic the step over, rifles one, but it's well wide. Trying to get underneath that and settle it down. Looking for something far post as we hit the 45th minute.
Yeah, and Duke, Trey Muse coming up with another clutch save there just about a minute ago. He had 74 saves on the season coming into this game, 11 clean sheets, second most in the entirety of the league. And tonight is his 100th appearance in the regular season in USL.
Navarro wanting to see this through for a goal kick and does so. Traeger on him. Goal kick or a foul. Navarro doesn't mind as long as it's Locomotive's ball. Veteran of the English Premier League. Wolves, Espanyol in Spain. And Benny Diaz. 2 minutes of stoppage time here in the first half. Diaz gets ready to push this back into play. On loan from Club Tijuana. Had a pretty good night versus FC Juarez Bravos, Locomotive sister squad last evening. Sadly for Borderland soccer fans, good switch by Rose here to Petrovic. Calvillo. Rose to Calvillo to McHugh. Navarro seeing no opportunity to make a wave of that magic right foot. Into the final seconds of our first half. Locomotive and Charleston Battery tied at 1. Does Locomotive have one final push? Here's Calvillo. Knudsen. Rose. Lions open up the right wing. Well seen, excellent work on that left side by Segbers. Williams and Traeger. They'll go to the middle and Booth. And now over to Dodson. Dodson getting a tangle and earns a free kick as Knudsen lodges his complaint with Joshua Encarnacion. We are past the 2 minutes. You have to imagine this will be the last kick of the first half. Petrovic remonstrating with Mr. Encarnacion. He's just trying to draw a line in the grass. Out it comes, nodded back out by McHugh, and that is the end of the first half of play. Fidel Barajas trying to get something restarted. Nobody in orange on the other side of that delivery. Tied at 1 at the end of 45. Locomotive and Charleston Battery still vying for the 3 points as we take a look at the goals here in half number 1. Petar Petrovic, just a huge, huge strike for Locomotive. But that was met by Fidel Barajas, his 9th assist of the season to Augie Williams, and that's what brings us level at the end of 45. Back with more after this.
Don't wait on the sidelines. It's time to make your move in a new Ford today.
The thrill of the drive starts when you get behind the wheel of a new Ford truck or SUV.
And experience the speed, precision, and power to conquer the open road.
Catch a great deal at Paso Ford.
Get $7,500 off MSRP on a new F-150 Lariat. Or get 2.9% APR financing for 60 months on a new Ford Explorer XLT. Score a winning drive at Casa Ford.
Home of the nice guys. Yeah!
Tied things at 2 apiece. And then Chris Garcia facilitating this one. It'll bounce to Calvillo. He'll roll it home for the game-winning goal. And a good job by Knudsen to just stay where he was and allow Calvillo to go one-on-one with Trey Muse. Locomotive with a huge 3 points, a 3-2 come-from-behind win. And let's head down to the pitch to Rachel Phillips for our Estrella of the match. Rachel. Here with our Estrella of the match, that of course would be Emmanuel Sinupe. Rachel.
Locos fans, I am joined by your Estrella of the match, Manny Sinupe. Manny, this is the first time the Locomotive have won at home in 9 games. It is the first time you guys have scored 3 goals in a game since May 5th. How does this feel right now?
Yeah, listen, it's one of those games where, you know, the emotions are so high, you know. You come on at 1-1 and you're thinking, okay, it's time to win it, you go 2-1 down, but the boys stuck in there. Some big performances, and we've had big performances over the season, but I think this one is definitely up there.
When you talk about a big performance, it was a massive one from you. You came on in the second half. I saw Brian Clareheart talking to you right before you came on. What did he say to you?
Pretty similar to what's been said all season, really. You know, I haven't had much game time, but when you go on, you know, just, you know, try as much to affect the game. You know, my job is to try and score and assist, and luckily I've done that today.
Yeah, you talk about doing that. Talk me through that goal. Eric Calvillo gave you a beautiful through ball, and then you just nailed it in the bottom net. What was going through your mind?
Listen, first of all, credit to Eric. You know, those kind of balls may look easy, but to put the right weight on it, for me to just hit it first time, you know, big credit to him. But as for me, it was more just, you know, get a good contact on it and try hit it low and hard back post.
We're getting some squirts of water here on Manny Sinupe because you had the equalizer. You talk about Eric Calvillo. He had the game winner off Chris Garcia. How much, what was going through your mind when he got that game winner, and how did you guys stay on to hold the lead?
Yeah, Chris first of all done a brilliant piece of play just before, and then you see the ball just drop to Eric, and there's that little second where you're thinking, you know, what's going to happen here, and he put it away. So I'm buzzing for him. I'm buzzing for the team, and it's a good feeling.
Manny, congratulations. You are tonight's Estrella of the match. The Locomotive are now still in the playoff hunt, a massive 3 points right now on the live ladder. They sit in 8th spot in the Western Conference standings, back here on Wednesday night against San Diego Loyal. Manny, congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for everyone coming. Gracias, Emma. Gracias por todo. She's not even listening to me.
You see those Spanish lessons coming in clutch right now for Manny Sinupe.
Outstanding. Emmanuel Sinupe with just a beautiful first-time shot into the side netting, and he was absolutely right. Calvillo with the assist, and then the game winner certainly could be a candidate for our Estrella of the match as well, taking pictures with baby Enzo. as Emmanuel Sanupe talks with the crowd. Let's take a look at our GECU save of the game. Benny Diaz fights that one off, and Locomotive's defense coming to help him out. But an absolutely critical save on that left side versus Mark Segbers, and Benny Diaz able to hang that one on. As Locomotive earning the 3 points tonight, as Rachel pointed out, live standings have them 8th in the table. As we take a look at our physical play of the game. And this was critical. Traeger around Benny Diaz, trying to lift it in, but Eric McHugh making the run to track back. You can see him, he's nowhere near the picture. And then all of a sudden he's there. Critical stop for Locomotive FC in a critical part of the match. 3-2 Locomotive with the victory, and we will see you on Wednesday evening for San Diego Loyal. Just remains for us to thank all of the fine folks who helped us out, as there we see baby Enzo, who looks like he's had a night this evening, completely asleep. Our thanks to our producer, Juan Gutierrez, to Rachel Phillips, and to her dad, David, now 2-0 when he's been in El Paso. Shout out to David. Locomotive with the 3-2 win for all of us here in El Paso. I'm Duke Keith. So long from El Paso, Texas.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.